It's our neighbors to the north, Canada, with the Killer Dwarfs with Keep the Spirit Alive, featuring Russ Dorff on lead vocal. And I was thinking back today, Chris, that so many years ago, it's been 10 years ago, I think, that Russ Dorff was actually here.
Right.
In the CMS studio. And we were basically just in the infancy of creating what the show is today.
Sure. Boy, what a downgrade from Russ Dorff to Sal.
Oh, fuck. I know. How dare you?
but to think that Russ Dorff was here and spent the full 6 hours with us, entertaining us and playing live music for us and playing his little guitar and singing songs for us and stuff. And it was just like, granted, Killer Dwarfs wasn't, a arena headlining act or anything, but they still have some notoriety on MTV and whatnot. Yeah. And to have Russ Dorff here just hanging out with you and I and us cutting up and making jokes and just being so funny.
It was definitely one of the funnier appearances any rock guy ever had with us, with him playing the songs and me playing the "You suck, you jackass."
Exactly.
And we had fun with him. He was fun.
He was fun. It was a lot of fun. I mean, I got to thank our good friend Jim Bob for bringing him by the show.
Sure.
And he was just like, yeah, man, it's cool to be here. Let's just do it, And he was just like amazed that you and I could do this show. He's just like, well, where's your audio guy, and where's your producer, and where's your tech guy, and where's your board op?
Looking
right
at
here,
him.
dude.
Yeah, you're looking at him.
Yeah, right here. It's like, wow, that's amazing.
Yes. Yeah, so amazing.
Well, again, when you're dealing with the old school guys that we're used to going to radio stations, and they have a board up, and they have a producer, and they have the disc jockey, and they have this guy and that guy, and obviously I do it all right here at the console, and it's just like, wow, you eliminated 4 people to do one guy's job.
Yep, exactly. How many people work with Cumia? I mean, he's got 2 guys that run the board. He's got, more with video guys and video editors and everything. And we do it between us.
Yeah, he's got 6 guys.
And we do it between us too.
I mean, you run the video end, I run the audio end, the streaming end, the music end, whatever. And yeah, Cumia's got 4 to 6 guys working on his staff over there. Wow.
Yeah, in addition to the talent.
Of course.
In addition to talent. And I mean, that's the only place we're lacking. We don't have any talent. We just
and we don't have any sponsors or make any money.
That's true. It's true. We're not doing any deep discount fucking reads.
Yeah. but I was we were discussing today the whole Joe Rogan thing about, getting signed by Spotify for the $100 million for 5 years.
Right.
And here's the thing that kind of, it's cool. I appreciate what Joe Rogan does and the fact that he's been able to be so successful. But the sucky thing about it is that the guy who inspired him to do what he does, that is Anthony, he didn't get a deal like that.
No. Rogan's a little more milquetoast. That's really the difference. The one thing Rogan did different than Anthony was bit his tongue a little bit. He's chilled back quite a bit. What he says, which is why he's been able to survive on YouTube. Anthony would have never survived on YouTube.
No, absolutely not. But the thing that I obviously credit Anthony for is that even prior to him getting fired from SiriusXM, he was already doing the video streaming thing from his house.
Yeah.
And I remember, especially when those riots were happening in Baltimore, and all that kind of stuff, and he would just go live just to comment on
Right. Sure.
the news, the news coverage and stuff. That was just fucking hysterical.
It was always funny.
And it was funny, and he would just stay on the stream for several hours.
Yeah, sometimes until it was time to get in his car and drive over to Sirius.
Yeah. And then, obviously social media got him in trouble and obviously got him fired for his, and looking back, that happened in 2015?
14. Yeah.
Was it 14?
Yeah.
Wow. So 6 years ago.
6 years ago.
On Twitter, he got assaulted and accosted.
Mm-hmm.
And he, unfortunately, he expressed his anger for being accosted, and he lost his job over it.
Yeah.
I think he was one of the first victims of social media justice, if you will.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, what else he is? He's the longest standing person that hasn't gotten it yet, because he still tries to stay on social media.
That's true, because he's had like 6 or 8 or 10 Twitter accounts.
He has another one now. He's Compound Boss on Twitter.
Right.
But yeah, he's been Anthony Cumia 1, Anthony Cumia Compound, Anthony Cumia CM. He's had tons of them. It's like, dude, get off of fucking social media.
I agree.
But I guess he doesn't have to worry about it anymore. He's a millionaire with fucking his own playground.
Now, do you think that he's in the positive with his show? I mean, okay, I know that his contracts with Sirius XM probably were, what do you think his yearly contract with Sirius XM netted, net, not gross, but net?
Well, I mean, I've heard him talk about it on the show before. It was somewhere between 3 and 5 million. So after tax, so after tax is what? $1.5 million.
Well, now was that in taking into consideration what he had to pay his agent and all this other stuff?
I don't know. Where he made his money, I think. I mean, I think to answer the question, I think he's still probably got plenty of money. Reason being, they took a bunch of money to come back to CBS.
Okay.
When they did that CBS, the split that was terrible and only lasted a few months, that was guaranteed money, and they took a boatload of money to do that job.
Okay.
So he probably made like $15-20 million right there.
Okay.
They made a shit ton of money to do that. Sirius or XM, they paid them dick because they were broke. They were just damaged goods after Sex for Sam. So they were probably making, on the first contract, they probably made little money, but the second contract on, because they were huge on XM with the
right. Well, they had their own channel.
Yeah. But they were super popular too. They probably made, that's probably the $5 million years, some of those years. And then it probably scaled back some in the end, but I'm sure he's got 8-10 million in the bank. As far as where he stands with Compound.
Yeah. You think he makes any money on that at all?
I don't know, man. I mean, I would hope so, but if I had to guess, I would say it's probably flatlined or losing money at this point, just because of some of the moves that he's making.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking here. Do you think he's being profitable doing Compound, or do you think he's paying to keep it alive?
I would say the latter at this point, but that's a guess. Only because in the last month, in the last 2 weeks to a month, he fired Keith the Cop.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Keith the Cop is no longer part of the deal.
Okay.
I think that's because the apps and the website never work.
Okay.
So I do know for a fact that they let go of Keith the Cop, and that Eric Nagel is running the place now. And they also, just this week, they closed the studio for good. The New York studio.
Well, they were probably paying rent at a high rent district to have a studio.
Well, and Dave is doing the show out with Anthony at his house, and it's probably working. I almost wonder, I don't know this to be true or not true, and I've had no conversation with Dave about this, so I'm really just guessing at this point, but I'm wondering if Dave isn't gonna cato up with Anthony and give up his apartment and live at Anthony's house, which is big enough for it, and do the show and then do his traveling directly from Anthony's house. Because he's living there now anyway because of COVID.
Right.
So I don't know that it would be that. And I know he has that back area, by the pool. There might be a pool house back there. I don't know. But even if not, I mean, he is living with Anthony right now. So
yeah. Now is Dave, again, I'm asking a lot of questions I'm not aware of, and maybe you're not aware. Mm-hmm. Is he like involved with like a chick or got kids or anything like that?
He's married with a kid. They both live in Detroit. So he goes.
Isn't that bizarre that Dave would live in Detroit of all places?
That's where he grew up.
And have I get it, but have a chick and kids and all that, but yet his gig with Anthony is in New York and he just stays there all the time.
Yeah, well, I don't understand it. I'm not going to lie and say that I do, but I've never sat down with him and said, "Hey, dude, how does that all work?" I've never had that conversation with him. I just know that, he does have a chick that lived. Maybe she moved or was supposed to move this summer, I thought, to New York, but God knows now. God knows with COVID what's going to happen. But he has a little kid that I know is like kindergarten or first grade age.
Okay.
So I don't know how that's all going to work. I would imagine he's going to move his family here now that the Anthony Cumia gig is, kind of solidified. He's been there 2 years or whatever.
Yeah. Well, that's just funny. It's just like, Anthony seems like he's one of us. He's like you and a me and a Sal. Just a dude that just has his passions and worked his whole life and does what he does. But could you imagine if Anthony would allow a Dave and his chick and his kid to live at his place?
That would not work.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that probably wouldn't work well.
Fuck.
Jesus. I can't imagine, but Anthony likes the younger chicks.
Yeah.
He's got money and he's a successful guy, and he gets younger puss and all that other stuff. And it's just like, yeah, I got my partner Dave here and his wife and kid.
Yeah. Let's keep the cursing down around the pool. The child is there. Yeah, no, I don't know. I would think, as far going back to the money thing, I think the Artie thing really fucked him.
Oh, of course.
Because he paid Artie way too much.
The thing is, when you told me that, hey, Anthony is, being joined by Artie Lang and they're changing the name and all this other stuff to what was it? The
Artie and Anthony.
What did they call it?
Artie and Anthony, the AA show.
Yeah, the AA show.
Yeah.
And I said, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
And it didn't. How long did that last? What, 6-7 months?
I think 9, but it officially lasted 9 months, but Artie was like showing up like one day a week at the end.
Right. So, and I knew that was not going to happen or work.
Yeah.
And then it went back to the whole Anthony or the Compound or Compound Media.
Well, Dave, yeah, it's now the Anthony Cumia Show with Dave Landau. But
okay.
Dave came on as third mic, maybe, I'm tempted to say a month or two before Artie got let loose.
Okay.
Because they were having so much trouble, and Anthony was, Ant would get to doing a show and then he would have to fill the whole show by himself. Not that that's impossible, but You know, that's pretty difficult to do 2 hours every single day by yourself.
Yeah, and on video, nevertheless.
Yeah, and try to remain up and happy and whatever. You know, it's definitely not an ideal situation. So, but yeah, it was a mess. Yeah, you know, Artie's in jail now, right?
No, I wasn't aware. I knew that he was
Shocker.
doing that. What was that whole Artie? What was his show? What was he calling his show?
Oh, what was it? The halfway house or something.
Halfway House. Yeah, is
Halfway House.
Jail now?
Yeah, he violated. He was in.
What a surprise!
Yeah.
No, but he was on probation.
Yeah,
with drug court, and he got caught. He got hit for a spot test, and he got caught using what's known as the Whizzinator. Are you familiar with the Whizzinator?
You were so way ahead of me on this stuff.
The Whizzinator it's an apparatus that drug guys use.
Yes.
To use somebody else's piss in a piss test.
Oh, okay.
and apparently it somehow gets hooked to, like, I don't know how it gets hooked. It gets somehow hooked to your dick and your scrot or whatever, so that you can
Oh my God.
position it to take a piss with somebody watching and they won't see it. Or
Right.
that's the kicker to it. He got caught with it, so now he's doing, from what I heard on a video, so take it with a grain of salt.
Right.
I heard that he's doing it a year for parole violation.
The Whizzinator.
Yeah.
Is that like a fleshlight?
I thought he was. I thought he was supposed to be clean.
Yeah.
Well, his pee was clean. The pee that he bought.
Put those photos in the chat room. That's how fucking clean he was. Check
Dude.
this shit out.
Dude, how?
No shit. I know what you're thinking.
You and I, we live just normal lives.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you rarely leave your house because obviously your income, you do it right there at your house. Your entertainment's at your house.
Mm-hmm.
Periodically, you venture out to hang out with some friends or go to a show when that happens.
Yeah.
But how fucked up do you have to be to be facing jail time if you step out of line and you get caught?
And lie. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
You got to be pretty fucked. You got to love that junk, man. And I mean, maybe I'm just lucky that all the drugs that I tried I didn't love.
Yeah, but Artie, on the other hand, he fucked up his face and his nose due to his cocaine use, and just the guy is a mess. The guy was on the biggest radio show ever, the Howard Stern Show.
Right.
And his love for excess, drugs, whatever, just fucked him out of that.
Yeah. Yeah, he loved his H, man. He loved his heroin.
Everything. The fucking money he must have been making with Stern.
What do you think Artie was making as, it was like a sidekick to a Howard, or even, granted, probably he wasn't making the kind of coin he was making with Howard by joining Anthony, but
I know the numbers. With Anthony, he was making $700,000 a year.
Oh my God!
All right,
with Anthony, with Howard,
about $750,000.
Yeah, with Howard, if I remember right, he said he made $2 million a year.
Wow! Oh my God.
But he also made another $3 million a year doing stand up because of Stern.
Yeah, because of his association with Stern. Yeah.
Because he was being with Stern, he went from playing, the Chuckle Hut to playing the place that held, 8,000 people.
Right, of course.
He did dice numbers. And that's funny to me because he's not very to me, as somebody that loves comedy. I never found Artie to be amazingly fun. I found him funny on the Stern Show.
Yeah, because he was good at the quick wit.
Yeah, but he's like Norton. I don't especially love Norton's comedy. I think he's funny. I think he's funnier than Artie, but I don't. I'll take Landau any day of the week over him.
Yeah, you like the off the cuff quick stuff that these guys can contribute, but when it comes to a scripted stand-up thing,
yeah,
they're okay.
Yeah, they're okay. But the guy we went and saw was Chris Porter.
Yeah, Chris Porter.
That guy's fucking way funnier than either of those two.
Oh yeah,
way funnier. And I've seen Dave a few times, and let's be honest, I've seen Dave 3 times, so I've seen all 3 times I've seen material that I've already seen before. Still laugh because he changes it just a little bit, changes the dynamic and the delivery a little bit to where it's still funny.
Sure.
I mean, he's a fucking funny comic, man. I love comedy. I believe
I do too.
That was one of the biggest things I missed when I was married, was not seeing or hearing any comedy. Lord knows the only comedy I was going to see with her was on TBN.
Yeah, well, there was no comedy about your situation being married.
No,
I was not laughing. I was crying for you.
That was the joke. Was my marriage, my relationship.
Yeah. I would cry silently at night for Chris.
Go, not allowed.
My friend is like totally suffering here.
Yeah, meanwhile, I was openly weeping like a bitch. Kill me! Kill me! Yeah, no, I mean, right now, the biggest problem that I think Cumia has is, I think he does a little bit too much of friends. Anybody's friends with, he'll give a show.
No, it's the whole beggars and hangers on thing.
Yeah. And it's like some of these shows are just, it's not even that they're not always good. Like I've grown to like, there's a show called 2 Drink Minimum that I didn't really like at first, but I've watched it many, many times and I've grown to get it. It's one of those that the comics that are on it are different than the normal, kind of shock jockey comics that I like. So it took me a minute to get it, but I get that one. And a fair one is okay now that Dave is on it. But, like the East Side Dave show, just fucking random nonsense. And it's, it's all the C-lister whack pack guys from O&A and Ron and Fez. It's like Flutzy and Bobo and Big A, and it's all these like guys that I didn't like when they were characters on O&A.
Well, they're all peripheral players.
Yeah.
That the only reason they had any notoriety is because that they rode the coattails of the main stars.
Right. And like Eastside Dave was funny as a sidekick to Ron Bennington. Okay. But he's not very good on his own.
Yeah. I mean, he could chime in periodically and might add a nugget of funny, but to be the main guy, not so much.
Yeah. Like Tammy in the chat room said that married Chris was a cock. He's right. She's right.
Really?
Other than I wouldn't sit around watching somebody else fuck her. Yeah, pretty much. Right. I just did what I was told. I was a fucking idiot. I'm not going to lie about that. How am I going to lie about that when I wrote fucking books about it? I was an absolute disaster as a fucking married guy. Just a total bitch. That's why I won't do it twice.
Well, I think that's how I'm going to introduce you from now on. Chris the Cuck.
Fine with me.
Don't pet the rattlesnake, Chris, right?
Just another name on the label cape.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. But I don't know. I hope Cumia is doing. I don't want to see that show go away.
Well, again, I admire Anthony for doing what he does.
Me too.
Because he was doing it before he got fired. He didn't do it out of desperation. He did it because he had a true interest in it.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like a passion for him. And he would, he launched the whole compound thing before he got fired.
Yeah.
And again, the whole live streaming thing, the whole video thing was fairly new at that time because he was doing it back in like 2013.
Yeah.
like 7 years ago.
Yes, right
And-
when YouTube introduced it, I think.
Yeah, and he was doing it live from his basement or his house or the lower part of his house.
Yeah.
And he was doing it just out of shits and giggles.
Yeah.
And it was kind of fun, and it was just kind of funny. And he had his full-time gig with Sirius XM and CBS and stuff. But he took the time to set up some cameras and get what is the name of that platform? Was it live stream?
I think it was live stream or one of them stream things.
Is it still around? Is live stream still around?
Yeah, live stream's still around.
Okay. So but he hooked into that and thought, outside of what I do on a daily basis, I'm going to give the hardcore fans who will look me up and tune into this shit, whatever it is that I provide.
Yeah.
And he looked like he was having fun doing it. It was just like, yeah, I'm just kind of like freeforming here. I'm just kind of like hosting a show out of my house.
Yeah.
And he turned it into something. But getting back to my original point before this discussion with the whole Joe Rogan thing.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan took what Anthony was doing. And in fact, he's, talked about it. I know I've mentioned it on the show, but he took what Anthony was doing and made it a thing for himself. And he turned it into $100 million deal.
Yeah. Smart.
It's like, holy shit. 100 million.
Yeah. He made a couple of dollars. That's for sure.
Yeah, to say the least. So that's why I wonder, how the originator who does this kind of stuff, how he's making out monetarily, if he's actually making money, if he's actually paying out of pocket to fund this thing, or, what he's doing, because obviously he's attempted to develop a whole platform with live shows. Obviously he's got the Don Jameson on and the Legion of Skanks and all that.
They're gone already.
They're gone already.
Legion of Skanks went and formed their own platform called Gas Digital.
Okay.
And they have a lot of good shows actually on Gas Digital. I think Legion of Skanks kind of did what Rogan did. They saw what Anthony was doing and they went off and did it themselves.
Yeah, we'll do that ourselves. We don't have to be, a slave to the master. We'll just be the master. Oh, wait a minute. Is that banned now? You're not allowed to use master anymore?
Or slave. Not allowed to use those terms anymore, Neeley.
Right.
As a bedroom?
Yeah. How old school am I to actually use terms like that?
Golf tournament?
Your buddy Don Dokken wouldn't be very happy with you.
You can't use those terms.
Are we gonna address this tonight, since I got 100 messages today about this?
To be honest with you, I wasn't even aware of this at all. Because I don't read blabbermouth for the most part.
Well, you want me to read it to you and you could comment along the way?
Well, I can pull it up. I can pull it up here.
All right.
But I got to be honest, I knew nothing about this.
Well, the fans did, as Facebook exploded this afternoon with people messaging the show saying,
I wasn't aware. I didn't know. I've been out of pocket, so to speak. I was out shooting guns and doing all kinds of other stuff. So I didn't know anything about this.
It was just a cavalcade of Neeley's losing a friend, or Neeley's gonna have to cuck to Don, or
really? Yeah,
it was all Neeley.
Right.
And I was like, okay, well, Neeley will address it. I don't think you're gonna run from it.
Why would I run from it?
Because he's your friend, man. And how dare you have a different opinion?
I've got people I've got different opinions with. It doesn't make them any less of my friend. You can have friends that you have differing opinions on. So what?
Yeah. Look, I'm friends with Don, and I won't be wearing a mask.
Yeah. So what?
Does that make me stupid? Okay. I'm an idiot then, I guess.
Okay.
So you're friends with an idiot, because I won't be wearing a mask.
Well, I haven't worn a mask. I don't advocate wearing a mask.
Fuck that.
again, where does the wisdom of, this whole mask thing come from? I mean, did they go to school and study this, or are they just listening what the the lamestream media is regurgitating?
Neeley, under lock and key, tooth and nail. What more education do you need than that?
Okay.
Shadow life.
All right.
Prozac Nation. Come on. The guy's clearly a doctor. Dr. Dokken.
Yeah. But again, and I'm going to make this very clear.
Yeah.
No one, and I mean no one, ever reports, hey, we had 10,000 cases of the flu this week.
No, of course not.
Nobody ever mentions that.
We don't test for it.
But the biggest thing is who cares how many people contracted a cold or a flu or anything? Isn't the real story there that this is a deadly thing? And the virus at this point, with quote unquote the number of people who've contracted it, is like 0.2%. It's like 0.2%.
And even that is in question.
Yeah, that's even in question. So it's not the number of contracted cases, because I got to be honest with you. We were having a discussion today, and it was just like, do you know anybody who contracted this? And my answer is, I don't know anyone. Do you, Chris? Do you personally know anyone who contracted this?
I do. Few.
How many?
About 5.
Okay, 5.
Wow. Yeah.
How about you, Sal? No. Do you know any? And you live in live in the 3rd largest city in the United States. How many people do you personally know that contracted the virus?
None that I'm aware of.
None.
And I live in a high rise with 34 floors, so everybody's on top of each other.
I don't know one person personally that has contracted this. Not a one.
Nope.
Well, the people that I know are Chuck Billy's wife.
But that's not.
Well, I just, you ask people that I know, and
no,
I knew
I'm talking about like on a daily personal level, like somebody that you actually know.
Two. My friend Debbie and her husband are the 2 that I definitely know.
Okay, so what was the outcome?
They're fine. They're I believe it. I'm not scared of it. Obviously, I'm not scared of it just because.
But you're kind of answering my question here. Well, so what happened? Nothing.
They were sick. They said it blew, and they got over it.
So where's the story? I caught a cold this week, and I'm over it. Okay, where's the story?
Well, I've said all along, I thought I had it in January.
You might have.
Yeah.
And as you remember, I missed a show because I was so sick.
Yeah.
That I called you like at 7 or texted.
Just an hour before the show. You were
like, I can't do it.
I can't do it.
Yeah. Because I was deathly sick. And I mean, and I ain't gonna lie. I was, the whole thing about that makes me think I had it was I had every bit of the symptoms. I had the 103 fever. I literally could not breathe. Like to get up to take a piss, to walk the 8 feet or whatever it is from my bedroom to the bathroom, I was like clutching walls.
Yeah. Well, did you wear that on the back of your, your shirt that said "I can't breathe"?
Yeah. No. Well, I think part of it was I had that Chauvin cop leaning on my throat the whole time. But
right.
But I literally could not catch breath. That's why I couldn't do the show, because I didn't think I could talk.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think I had. I think everybody that got sick over the winter probably had it.
February for me, man. 4 days out of work. Fuck.
Yeah. I think everybody had it. Everybody that I do know had a quote unquote really bad flu this year, except
okay.
So I tend to think that was probably coronavirus.
Could have been. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, and we're never gonna know. And that's why this whole thing. Before we get into Don specifically with his load of brilliance that he's about to share with you here, I I'm just going to say nobody has any answers. No one has any answers. The fucking experts don't know.
No, they don't.
They change their opinion day to day.
Right. Fauci, the whole fucking crew.
Fauci, the WHO, the CDC, all of them have changed. We've seen everything from if you touch anything, you're going to get coronavirus, to, you can't get it off a surface. Then we've had wearing masks is essential. Then we've had wearing masks is not essential. Then we had wearing masks will actually make you sicker. Then we had staying home will make you sick. Then we had the sunshine will kill it. Now we have the sunshine will not kill it. Nobody fucking knows. So in my mind, live your life. If you die, you die.
Absolutely.
You're going to it. Everybody has, this is what always kills me. And maybe this is a morbid way that I think, and only I think, but everybody has the grandest fear in the world about something that's going to happen to them 100% of the time. There's not a person that's going to avoid death. And yet it's the biggest fear everybody has is dying.
Right.
It's so irrational. You talk about irrational fears. Why in the fuck would you spend your life worrying about death when you know it's going to happen?
Right.
Enjoy the days you have, because you might not have, it's what, 12:30 or 12:15 here. I could very well be dead before the next joke comes out of my mouth. Could very well be dead. And then what? Am I gonna spend my last moments going, oh, if I just would have told one more joke, it would have been better.
Dude, you faced it. I mean, I read your books. You fucking faced it head on.
Yeah.
And I'd be fearless too if I were you. And all this virus shit, it's you got to see like some of the overreaction in Chicago in my building and fucking whack shit, man.
It's insane. But what is the most insane to me is that people are so willing to, in my mind, and again, this is only my thought, but by staying locked up and by sitting home waiting for this shit to end, you're actually giving up the life that you're not living by just going out and doing it.
Right.
You're not getting those days back. So you're, in essence, you're dying. You're dying anyway. You're dying by sitting in your house. You're not living. You're not having fun. I'm sure even married guys have stopped fucking their wives now because they're sick of that pussy. Because it's the same fucking stale pussy that they've been banging for 4 months.
Oh,
it's like everything is dull now. Am I the only one that just fucking looks at his TV and is like, Jesus, can't even stand surfing it anymore? Because I'm sick of looking at it, sick of watching it. I don't want to do it anymore. Sick of music. I'm sick of TV. I'm sick of people. I'm sick of Trump. I'm sick of Pelosi. I'm sick of news, social media. Did I say people? Because if I didn't, I need to do 130 more times. You're
getting a double gut punch of the fucking social shit. And that, layered on top of the fucking virus, hey, man, we need a break.
Let's just go do something. And if we die, who fucking cares? At least we die on our terms.
Dude, car accident, other illnesses, you fucking name it. I'm not going to deprive myself of shit, experiences. I mean, if I were, fucking a jag off like that, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. No fucking way.
Somehow you guys managed to go and have fun yesterday and today, and you're fucking still alive.
Yep.
How did that happen?
Yeah, and if I catch the sniffles, it was well worth it.
Yeah. But anyway, let's move on to Don Dokken here, because the fans want to know your reaction, Neeley.
All right, well, hang on. Hail and kill caller, you're on the air.
Well, the latest advice in Australia that we're getting on all this stuff now with the mask thing is still they're saying that the masks don't really work for start, but then they just say if you're in somewhere that's crowded, like a train or a bus where there's contact to contact, you should wear one then. But if you're just kind of walking around in the open or whatever, then there's no need. Or they said if you're in a city where where, you know, the virus incidences have gone up, or if you're in an area where the virus incidences have gone up, then you should wear one, but otherwise no. So I don't understand, I mean, you guys are from the States, I'm not. I don't understand why the difference of advice from one country to another. I don't understand that at all. There's no unity.
Well,
because they don't know.
Well, from Australia to America, there's one big difference. People come here. People come in and out of the States. I mean, and that's not even shitting on Australia. That's just saying from just about anywhere. Australia is a fucking monster flight. You know, it's a long fucking flight.
That's true. That's true.
And well, you know, and people don't go there that much. I mean, dude, just to fly to Australia from here is several $1,000s. You know, it's like $4,000 or something just to go to Australia. So Australia is not going to have the number of people coming in from all over the world that could potentially bring it. You know, Australia is a good little prison island, as it was intended to be. It keeps everything locked into its own little, you know, its own little island.
It's not a business hub either, you know. I mean, that's when New York got whacked, right, Chris? You know, fuck.
So,
yeah, it's true. I know you guys are about to talk about Don Dokken, so I'm going to hang up. But I do want to ask you: has Sebastian Bach lost the plot?
Is he what?
Like,
lost the plot?
Sebastian Bach, has he lost the plot? Yeah, has he gone mad?
Oh,
because
what the fuck you're talking about?
you see all this stuff. That guy's just a raving. I mean, I love Skid Row and Sebastian Bach, but the guy's just coming across as a raving lunatic. I mean, I
don't think he's lost the plot, Tim. I don't think he ever had the plot. He's always been a bit kooky. As long as I've known him, which was all the way back to Skid Row, he was a bit nutty. Neeley?
Yeah, I agree. Sal and I were having that discussion today. I was just like, you know, Sebastian he's a kook.
Unhinged, you know.
He should just be happy that porn tape of him is not out.
And so should Tommy Lee, by the way. Hail and kill.
Neeley, you never saw that porn tape with Sebastian Bach, did you?
I wasn't aware there was one either.
Horrendous. It was I saw it through, I'll say an industry person sent it to me. And it was him naked on a floor with his chick barking like a dog, and his chick throwing a ball and him going and playing fetch with the ball.
Really?
It was seriously fucked up.
Again, I've never seen it. I wasn't aware of it.
Christ.
This is the first time I even knew there was a tape.
Me too.
We talked about it on the show, on one of the shows when you weren't here, and I showed it to John or somebody on the show at that time. I don't have it anymore. I immediately wanted that off my phone, but it was really. He's like, and she's like, good little puppy. He was a good little puppy. Oh, it was embarrassing.
Oh God,
it was real embarrassing. And ever since then, it's like, this guy can't say anything to me. He can't tell me Donald Trump is a fucking maniac or something. I'm like, dude, I watched you fucking play naked catch with your chick, like acting like a dog. You have no fucking credibility anymore.
Weird.
All right. Well, again, I wasn't aware of that, but okay.
Yeah, he's a kook.
Yeah.
Mother trucker.
It's bizarre.
Dumbest thing ever. Him and Randy doing the handshake together, putting their hands around each other's thumbs, and
oh God.
Oh, yeah. So gay.
All right. Getting to this blabbermouth article. And again, this is the first time I'm reading this, so I wasn't even aware of any of this.
All right.
Don Dokken has expressed his frustration over the fact that many Americans are still refusing to acknowledge the viral threat posted by the novel coronavirus. Now, I don't know that they're refusing to acknowledge the threat. I just think that they're just like, it's been like 4 months. I'm not really seeing anything going on here. I think it's just that they rationally have decided for themselves, like, yeah, this isn't that big of a deal.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think I don't hear anybody saying it doesn't exist.
No, they're just saying, yeah, it's not as threatening as they originally made it out to be.
Yeah. As somebody that does not buy into it completely, I'll just say this: it ain't the plague.
Right.
That's my stance. It ain't the plague.
Yep.
And therefore, I'm going to live my life.
True.
That's it.
The singer made his comments as Dokken is preparing to play a couple of socially distanced shows this month, one in Roanoke, Virginia, which is, I'm going to that show, and the other in Hot Springs, Arkansas, that will feature special guests, guitarist Reb Beach of Winger and Whitesnake. The Arkansas venue has staged at least 2 concerts there were already with 6 feet social distancing in the open field. And I'm assured that it will be safe, Don told Rush on Rock.
I wish you were going to that show. I would, if you were doing that show, I would do the show live that night just to get the road report from you out in a cornfield.
They check everybody's temperature going into the show, and we won't be having any contact with people outside of our group. There's more of a risk from me contracting the COVID-19 as a result of flying, which I understand that's really not the case. I from what I've heard, that the airlines have really taken a lot of precautions to make sure that the planes are really clean. I know that's a risk, but in this case, I'm prepared to take it.
Why is he prepared to take that risk?
I don't understand. Maybe the money?
That's it. So, and again, I hate to hammer on Don because I consider Don a friend, but I'm going to hammer on him here. I don't like that he's bashing anybody about COVID, but then saying, well, I know that what I'm doing is a risk too, but it's okay for me.
Because I'm getting paid.
It doesn't matter why. What difference does that make? If COVID is really this big bad thing and you buy into the bullshit of you're not wearing a mask for you, you're wearing a mask for me. Okay? That is the current line.
Yeah, that's the current ultimate wisdom.
Yeah, that's the current wisdom. But Don is preaching that wisdom, that it's bothering him that people don't adhere to the strict social distancing and the strict mask wearing and whatever. But he's gonna not stay at home and do his best to stay at home or distance at home because there's a check involved.
Right.
But a guy like me, I'm supposed to overkill my customers for my business where there would also be a check involved.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of hypocritical, man.
Well, I agree. This thing isn't going anywhere fast, and we can't shut ourselves away forever, he continued, but people are stupid as far as I'm concerned. All this protesting and marching with no masks on meant the virus was bound to spike. Everybody's suddenly going to the beaches again without any social distancing.
So he thinks it's all because of
opening up
beaches and protests.
I guess.
and loosening up states and shit.
Oh my God! Why don't you go back to his place in New Mexico and fucking put his TV on a different channel?
All right. The scientists warned everyone that would happen. They told us that if we didn't wear a mask and stick to social distancing, this would be a big problem. And we've got an idiot president who won't even wear a mask. When the president of your own country won't wear a mask, what message does that send out to everyone else? Yeah. Well, what did Franklin Delano Roosevelt say the liberal left's iconic guy. What do we have to fear but fear itself?
Yeah,
true. Yep.
I mean, isn't he the liberal idol?
Yep.
Huh?
Yep.
Yeah.
Is Don going to wear a mask when he's singing?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I mean, he should. If Trump needs to wear a mask when he's delivering a performance, why wouldn't Don Dokken need a mask when he's delivering a performance? Right?
Well, I don't think you're going to make the virus go away because you're isolating yourself.
I'm not buying into any of it. I'm saying into his words.
Mm-hmm.
His words are, you people need to wear a mask. But I'm jumping on a plane and I'm going to do a performance and I'm going to do something where people are going to kind of gather where they're really not supposed to in a way. And it's okay because I'm doing it.
Mm-hmm.
It's hypocritical, man. All the way across the board.
I agree. I understand that people are frustrated, but we have to do this properly or it won't go away anytime soon. And then blah, blah, blah. Whether you are a fan of Trump or not, I see him as a little unhinged and trying to take over the planet. He's trying to take over the planet. So I wrote a song called Hail to the King about him. He has a king mentality, unlike Obama, who wasn't like King Obama, right?
Right.
Yeah, Obama wasn't like that at all.
Will the Hail to the King song be placed next to Shadow Life and then never played on the CMS show?
Right. I'm not a political person at all. I don't get involved in politics. But
lies!
But when you see the craziness of the government and the guy firing his people daily, like the attorney general, I think he said bar. He said bar for quite a while, actually.
Yeah.
And the prosecutor, it's bizarre. I wrote a tongue-in-cheek song about a guy who is running the country and feels he has no limitations or rules. Well, when you're the president, you have the leeway.
True.
A lot of people don't realize that during the Civil War that Lincoln fired 7 generals before he found one that, shared his vision for the Civil War. He fired 7 generals, 7, but nobody ever remembers that at all. I mean, obviously that was, 160 years ago or more, but Lincoln, one of the greatest presidents or one of the presidents that's hailed, no one ever says, hey, Lincoln's fired like 7 generals, right?
Well,
During the Civil War.
There's only one thing that was ever fired that had any impact on Lincoln, and it certainly wasn't a general.
Right. It was John Wilkes Booth.
Yeah. The cap in the back of the noggin.
And that's it. So, Don is my friend. I've known Don for 25 years. He and I have different thoughts and opinions on things, but if you can't have a friend that has a different opinion or thought or outlook on stuff and still remain friends, then that's not a true friend. That's not something you can just go, yeah, fuck you. You're not my friend anymore.
Right.
It's like, he's been on this show. You've tried to bait him with, you're talking to your best friend who's the driver of the Trump train.
Yeah.
And then I'll see him the next week, and that's never mentioned, and no friction there at all. None.
Why would there be? He's a fucking grown man.
Yeah.
He's not gonna, it goes back to what we say all the time. You can disagree with people, and when you get with them, I'm quite sure you and him are not going to sit around in fucking Virginia having a nice political debate.
Not at all. No.
You're going to talk about fucking old road stories and how many Jack and Cokes you can drink.
Exactly.
That's what'll happen. You're not going to sit around going, well, what about this mask thing, Don?
What's your take on it?
Yeah. Don, I read your story, and I have to say it was really disproportionate to my beliefs.
Right.
Okay,
everybody's got their own thoughts on things. I mean, I'm a grown person. I've got my thoughts. You and I don't agree on everything.
Oh, of course not. You think I'm a scumbag, and you're right, but
Don't tell me what I think, pal.
It's Mr. Scumbag.
Well, and what's funny is I got so many messages from people that were, they didn't say it directly, but it hinted at, this is going to be the end of Neeley and Don's French. And it's like, please, Don will hear this segment. There's no question in my mind, Don will hear this segment because 50 people will forward it to him. So he will hear it. And we've heard from him before when he's heard segments from us.
Yeah.
And he's not going to even bat his eye, even with me calling him out and saying that I think he's being hypocritical. He's not going to bat an eye to that. I mean, he might send me a text.
Well, he's heard a couple of things that we've said before, and he's flat out asked me, "Why are you sandbagging me like that, bro?" And I'm just like, "I didn't sandbag you. Here's the thing." Well, a lot of people were telling me this, that, and the other. I said, "Did you actually hear the segment?" No, I didn't hear it, but people told me what you said. I go, "Well, you got to hear the segment because what you're being told and what we actually said are two different things."
Yeah. Yeah. And we don't always have to agree.
No, don't have to agree.
It just was funny, dude. I mean, it has been a long time since something was posted that got such immediate blowback on social media. I mean, it was like pop, 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 pop. My phone was just fucking boom, 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 boom. I was like, what the fuck? And I go to it and there's like 30 messages or something. And I was like, son of a bitch. You know? Then I read the article and I was like, ooh, that's not real nice. That's, you know, I was like, I'm not gonna lie, I was disappointed. I was disappointed with our friend Don that he's, you know, going the SJW route with this nonsense instead of saying, look, I'm just gonna play a fucking show. You know, in reality, I wish he would have just said, look, I got offered to play these 2 fucking shows. I'm playing them. I gotta eat too.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, but that's not him. For him to, he's not going to be quiet about something he actually. And Don is a political guy. Don't let him fool you. He definitely is he doesn't write songs about politics normally, but he certainly talks about politics when he comes on.
Periodically, sure he does.
Yeah, so he's definitely somewhat involved in politics, and everybody. The other piece of this is everybody's talking about politics right now. It's the only subject there is because we can't go do anything else.
True.
You know, it's not like Don could not be talking politics because he's out there playing a bunch of shows with fucking this or that, or, you know, seeing chicks or seeing a chick throwing up or whatever. No, there's no stories to tell. The only thing that there is to tell is, did you see about the fucking mask today? And did you see what Governor blah, blah, blah said about blah, blah, blah? That's all there is. That's all there is.
Yeah, no sports, no fucking concerts, no nothing.
Nothing. Nope.
Fuck.
But anyway, yeah, I somehow think you guys will be fine. Considering he's flying you to the gig, I think you'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah. He's flying me to the gig, picking up my hotel cost, everything, you know.
I'm going to laugh if he leaves you stranded there.
Everything will be just fine.
You'll be like our one friend whose name I will not say.
Yeah.
Off the bus in St. Louis.
Yeah.
Left her in St. Louis, didn't give her bags. Just drove away with her bags, so she had nothing.
Right.
That was an all-time. You know what I'm talking about, don't you?
Oh, absolutely.
That was an all-timer.
That was horrific. Like, wow.
Yep.
All right. Well, I'm going to play an old classic rock song.
Okay.
Kind of goes with our discussion here.
All right.
Especially, you know, your avowed thoughts and highly expressed thoughts here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to play an old Blood, Sweat, and Tears song here.
All right.
I'm not scared of dying, and I don't really care.
There you go. Perfect.
So here it is. It's Blood, Sweat, and Tears featuring David Clayton Thomas on lead vocal exclusively here
on your classic metal show.